Hey there. Welcome to the Gyro Step Podcast Network Eastern Conference over-unders. We're going through every team except one in the East on this here episode. We will reconvene.
Take that, Indiana. Sorry.
We're going to do the Pacers. We're not going to do the Bucks, actually. We're going to save that for a deep dive on Milwaukee and share our takes on their over-under then. But we've got 14 other teams in the East, including Indiana. I'm Ti Windisch, joined as always by Rohan Katti, scorching himself with some hot chocolate, really putting the hot in hot chocolate.
It's hot. It's hot. I've learned my lesson.
Yeah.
It's very hot.
And then with less hot beverages, Jordan Treske and Adam McGee of the Win in Six podcast, among others, here on GSPN. Fellas,
less hot beverages, but more hot takes when it comes to Jordan.
Yeah, especially on Jordan's end there, as he's quenching his thirst, ready to deliver some more hot takes.
I am ready.
All right. The way Jordan delivers all his over and unders, you can tell he is ready. That's the same.
We've done exercises like this for years. Jordan has never once shown an ounce of enthusiasm. This year, he's all in.
Gen Z changed him. Gen Z, he's seen it online, TikToks. He's all in on.
This isn't your dad's over/under pod, you know.
Let's just dive right in.
This is us getting our second win, by the way.
Yeah. Well, no, don't spoil it. Adam changed his shirt.
What are you talking about? I changed my. This is a completely different
I'm
thing.
in a different room. What are you talking about, bro?
Yeah. All right.
You got hot chocolate.
All right. GSPN.info for all the links and stuff. Check it out. Let's dive right in. Boston Celtics. We're starting with the Atlantic. We're going alphabetical division and then team in division, really starting out with an absolute scorcher. The Celtics, 53.5 is the line. They won 51 games last year. Their season, obviously, really weird start. And then late January, they just turned it on, and they were pretty much one of the best, if not the best team in the league from then on, obviously dealing with a lot over the offseason. I'm going to throw directly to number one Boston Celtics fan, Jordan Treske, and get his read on this line. How hard are you smashing
It's the Celtics hoodie he's wearing.
Yeah.
For people watching on YouTube.
You'd be right. Joe Mazzulla, Montana, taking over for Ime Udoka. Danilo Gallinari, he was a free agent signing.
Yeah.
Toward ACL during Eurobasket. Malcolm Brogdon, like the trade a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Health permitting. It's I don't know. It's really hard to get a read on a team that just went to the finals, but we're also in unprecedented territory with the Celtics, considering the circumstances they are dealing with. Also, again, half the year last year they spent like under 500 and then just went on this crazy tear. So it's a matter of, okay, they figure things out. They have a nice starting lineup and some depth pieces that they added even more to over the offseason. But Robert Williams is hurt. And frankly, don't like anything of the last 8 months that's gone on with him for his long-term future. This team is going to be good, as they usually are. But again, I think there's just always this tension that exists between post Kyrie Celtics, post Danny Ainge really running this team, or even when Danny Ainge was there too. That just you can see the bottom falling through and then just being kind of like a middle of the road 500 team. So as far as their over under goes for me, I'm going under. I think 53.5 is a little bit too much for this team. I think best case scenario, they could easily hit that and be the 1 seed. Were they the 1 seed by the end of the year last year? No, it was Miami, right?
2. Yeah.
It was 2. They finished with the same record as the Bucks.
That's right. Yeah. But yeah, I think hitting 50 wins is kind of like the median outcome that I see with them.
I'm going under too. I was honestly ready to go way under, given recent events, and I mean, for a team of this profile to be just massive question mark over what they're getting from a coaching perspective, to have that much of an unknown there, I guess you can make the case there's continuity. doesn't always work like that, though, from an assistant to a head coach, and then when they bring some of their own ideas to the table, too. And then I looked at this roster, and I really like the roster, and I just think this team is going to be really good. I don't know if I want this team to be really good, but I think they will be. I really like the Brogdon deal for them. The question mark there is obviously Malcolm Brogdon's health. We've been down that road. We know all about that. But if he does have a relatively healthy season, I think massive addition. It could be a real game changer. Jordan's 100% right on Robert Williams and his health. But they do have some kind of, it's not the same, but I think they've done a job that's interesting enough. Blake Griffin is pretty washed, we know this, but he can give you solid minutes. Like, as a rotational, as a backup guy, I think it's okay.
I don't think he was doing that last year.
Do we know is Noah Vonleh actually there? Is that a real contract, or is there a chance that he's gone by the time this drops?
I think it's camp. They love Hauser. Sam Hauser's there. They're stretch 4.
Well, I love Noah Vonleh, and always have, and I would be curious if he ends up sticking around and he gets some opportunity with Robert Williams out. I still believe in Noah Vonleh. I think there's a player there. But overall, I mean, like, shouldn't really be going straight to Noah Vonleh. Malcolm Brogdon is a big addition to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Al Horford, that's the major kind of situation to watch. Do you get last season's Al Horford, or do you get the version before that it seemed like he was done? But overall, I think the Celtics are a very, very good team who, in spite of the massive big explosion, which could, still follow them around as the situation unfolds, they actually have more stability in a roster sense than a lot of the other teams around the league. And that could give them a chance to kind of rally through some of that storm and uncertainty early on. I think they're going to be very good. It's under for me, but that's not to say that they're kind of dropping off in a really major way. Just that's a pretty high line after a weird couple of months for them.
Yeah, I think for me, pretty easy under. I don't think they're going to be bad by any means, but I think the East got better. I think you could say they got better with Brogdon. I think, Robert Williams being out to start is really going to hurt. It's a good point about Horford. If he is not looking like that same spry Al Horford, that's really bad for their big depth. As excited as you may be about Noah Vonleh or Sam Hauser, that's pretty big difference from
Noah Vonleh hasn't played in a long time. Like, he played last year, he played 4 games. The year before that, 36. No, 68, 54. It's not ideal.
No, it's not. But
waiting for his moment.
He's going to make the roster.
I don't think he will make the roster, but I think he should. I've been screaming from the rooftop since his Knicks year. I thought he really showed something. His whole body composition changed in that year. I thought he became much more of an interesting kind of modern big than he ever was when he came into the league. I know. But
Adam's taking the over
34.
if they sign Noah Vonleh to a real contract. I'm not. That's the swing.
I'm taking. He's included in it. I think Noah Vonleh is good. That's like not a bit. I legitimately think he's good.
I'm just gonna leave that one alone.
Yeah.
Rohan thinks everything I say is like, I'm not saying he's an all-star. I'm not, much like in the last episode, I wasn't saying the Utah Jazz are a great team. It's like, I think he's a good backup big. If they have to bridge a gap, I think he could help them to do that.
I'm way more in on your Jazz take than your Noah Vonleh take. Rohan, over under on 53.5 for the Celtics.
Under on the Celtics. It's Jordan's having a good time with this one.
It's sad.
Typically teams in NBA history, when they have like these drastic swings midway through the year, you would think, oh, it's more like the latter half where they're good. It's actually not. It's neither of them, actually. It's usually one like of a combination of the good and the bad that they end up being the next season.
You thinking about that Heat year a couple years ago?
Yeah, but it's also just like, that's a good example of that. But that's just been a trend throughout like the modern NBA. It's difficult to see the Celtics team achieving as high as they did last season, especially with all the turmoil, all the uncertainty. I do think their roster is better than it was last season. I do think this is a very, very good roster. I don't think they're going to hit that 53 or 54 win threshold. I think they're going to be maybe like a 49 to 51, 52 win team.
I think they're better. not than the win total, but than the comp I'm going to make. But I kind of get like the John Wall, Brad Beal energy from the Jays of just like, I don't know how much it matters, but I don't think they're like, I don't know if it's a rock solid culture thing with the players and certainly with the coaching staff now having to change over. But I just don't know exactly what's going on there. I've always just gotten a weird, obviously not in the building. Maybe it doesn't matter at all. I just don't know. I don't know about the Boston players, and it just feels dangerous for Marcus Smart to be so important in so many different ways. But I digress. Reigning DPOY somehow. The Brooklyn Nets. I think they're a fascinating team. I don't think this number will lend itself to a fascinating discussion, however. 50.5. They won 44 last season. Obviously, Ben Simmons is now playing basketball, which he was not at that point. Still a lot of injury concerns, not just in the guys who are active, but some of the guys who are still out. I do think if you told me they get healthy in the first month of the year and stay healthy, I do think they could surpass this. But they just need so many bets to pay off, and any one or two of them going wrong could sink them so down below this. So I'm going to go under right away with the caveat again. I think there's a huge range of outcomes for this team. I just don't think it's better than 50%, that they're in the 50s on wins.
Under for me. I just really don't care or have the energy for the Brooklyn Nets anymore. I had enough. Like, we know how good they could be, but we also know that there is a long, long way, particularly in the way time seems to move for the Brooklyn Nets from now until the postseason. What's Kyrie Irving doing by that point? Where is Kyrie Irving doing whatever he's doing by that point? Where are things at with Ben Simmons? Is he afraid to take layups? Is he not? Is he complaining that other people are airballing and it's not being recorded? And when he airballs, it's being shared? Like, just who cares about this dumb team? Like, they could be great. They should probably go and win a championship, but they're too busy getting in their own way over and over again. And yeah, just not interested anymore. Let's get to the playoffs, play the Nets. Yeah, they've got Kevin Durant. That's a pretty good tool to have. It always puts you in a position for a big season. But like, I think you'd have to be crazy. I hope I'm not calling Rohan or Jordan crazy, but to take the over on a Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons team.
Yeah, under. Just
yeah.
It's I can't belabor the point anymore. Like, KD might request a trade again.
Yeah, in the talk about Kyrie, we do miss that KD also. Yeah, also kind of got bullied by Jason Tatum in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I do think they should have gotten a game. I do think it
was a closer sweep, but they should have gotten a game.
They still had KD and Kyrie. I know Simmons wasn't playing. They have a bunch of other guys.
Kyrie sucked.
Well, yeah,
you're probably better for Simmons not playing. Like, I mean,
yeah, in the playoffs, that's a good point. Jordan,
I have to reveal something. I made a switch. I initially came into this bewildered that I went with an over. My reasoning was, okay, they won 44 games last year.
You were bewildered that you went with an over.
Yes.
That seems like a situation that was within your control.
You know you have a powerful mind when you just bewilder yourself.
You're right. Kevin Durant played 55 games last year. Nets won 44 games. Kyrie Irving was doing Irving things.
Yeah.
Literally, just everything fell apart. They traded James Harden. We know all about it because everybody talks about it. I was thinking, oh, well, they actually have somewhat of a competitive team. They traded Royce O'Neal for a first-round pick. Why would they do that? Because they want to win games, right? Ben Simmons is going to play games. And then I realized I am betting on the Brooklyn Nets winning more than 51 games.
Just 51. Just 51, if that changes it for you. They just need 51 to be over.
I think they're going to be better. I also think it's going to be another circus, and Steve Nash is in over his head. Yeah. I don't know why. I apologize to the nation.
Apology accepted.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
I also want to know, Jordan, what games is Ben Simmons playing? Is it like Uno or Scrabble?
Candy Crush. He's playing Candy Crush.
Oh, okay. That does seem more Ben Simmons.
No, I think that's
very good
Dwight
at
Howard playing with Candy. I mean, like Kyrie will probably play more.
You love Skittles, bro. God.
Yeah. Whatever. Kyrie will play more, but I doubt he'll play as many for Brooklyn as Kyrie plus Harden did last season. And yes, it was turmoil and a whole situation. They had James Harden for half the year. Traded him for a guy who didn't play and still only won 44. I don't know if Simmons, for the amount of games he plays, will be more helpful to them than even late-stage James Harden. So,
Joe Harris is going to be, in all seriousness, having Joe Harris back is...
Are they going to have him?
I think... Did he play last night?
No.
I thought they were talking about how he's coming back.
They've been
Did I
talking
not
about
read that
that for
somewhere?
quite a while. We're reaching... I think we're past Lonzo Ball. I'm worried about Joe Harris. We'll see.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's back and healthy.
They did say yesterday they're optimistic he returns for the season opener.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see.
I think that's going to be a bigger addition than Ben Simmons was. That was
I would agree.
yeah.
They need a center.
I think Royce O'Neal might be.
They
They
need
also need a center.
They've never gotten a
that's
center.
key.
I just don't know why they don't get a center. They don't have
Is
one.
there
I think they
backup-
need one.
Is their backup center Markieff Morris?
They have a lot of guys. None of them can actually be a real useful. They have a bunch of fours who can play five these days.
Play Simmons center.
He's not a center. He can't rebound. Doesn't defend the post.
There's lots of things he can't do, but you got to play him somewhere, so you might as well play him center.
But I'm saying skill set wise, they don't have. Nick Claxton is not that. Markieff Morris, they had Blake. They have all these guys who are small ball centers. I think they need a real one. But whatever, it doesn't matter. Under New York Knicks were really on the cream of the crop here. 137 last year. The line is 39.5. I have no idea which way I'm going to go. So whoever wants to talk first.
Under. It's the Knicks. It's no. You're telling what team or how do they got Jalen Brunson? That is a good player.
RJ may be getting better.
He's not as good as the Knicks seem to think he is.
No, but
It's like-
it's a
getting better.
Jacksonville Jaguars deal. It doesn't matter if it's bad for them
I'm
long
talking
term.
about Brunson. I'm
No,
talking
I
about
know.
Brunson.
No, I am.
Oh.
too.
It's just but all their plans are built around getting Jalen Brunson as if they're one piece away. They're one piece away from being a worse team than they were last year?
Jordan's dog's not having it. No, I
I think that's agreement. That's
my point on them. Maybe it is. My point on the Knicks is I agree. Their plan is stupid. They're not run like a good franchise, but they just need 3 more wins for the over.
I think they got better. They're a better team than they were last year, like a better roster.
I think they maybe are.
I think the East is better too.
The East is
And
that's the big consideration.
That's going to hurt them. I'm with Jordan.
I like
don't know what to
Hartenstein.
say beyond this is an under.
Harden.
I like Hartenstein a lot. I wanted the Bucks to get Hartenstein.
I know.
I also just think this is my faith in or lack of in Tom Thibodeau. I think this is what are they doing? They keep treading this line of okay, we're gonna wait for the big fish to land. It was Zion Williamson, it was Donovan Mitchell, it was name 3 other guys.
Now it's Jalen Brunson.
Damian Lillard. That was 12 months ago. It was about Damian Lillard being unhappy, and then he commits further with Portland, and then they make the move. Like it's just the constant. Like it's always gonna be the next guy, and then you look at their team, and it's like it's a mediocre team that if everything breaks right for them, it's respectable, but it's just not. I don't see it. I don't see it with this team, and I don't think Thibodeau's. He might be among the first coach fired. I bet I would think.
But he is a hot take artist this year. Wow,
It's unbelievable. What's happened to my co-host?
I'm just saying. I think this is. I don't understand what they're doing with him.
Are there expectations high enough for him to be the first coach fired?
Probably not.
Depends how bad. Depends how bad it is. If they're atrocious, I think I could.
Yeah, if they go like 0-15, maybe. But I don't know. Jordan's coming in scorching hot. It really is unnerving.
My questions for the Knicks, like how much better? I do like a lot of their young guys to some extent. I'm out on Reddish, as I've said many times on this feed. Just don't care about him at all. But I like RJ Barrett a lot. Like Quickly is fun. They have a couple other guys. So I'm like, oh yeah, those. Will Tibbs play them is the question. Obi Toppin is intriguing. Will Tibbs ever play him at 5? Probably not, to Jordan's point. I do think they got a little bit better. I think Jalen Brunson is helpful. I don't know how helpful to this team. I don't know.
This is a team that like desperately needed like a lead ball handler, and he is that.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about Julius Randle, Marass still being there. Probably still at the
traded.
4. Yeah, I guess if you want to go back to the Lakers combo, the saddest guys they could trade for.
He might. Some Suns people want him.
Oh Christ! See, Christ. Under on the Knicks. I see the vision on over. I just think they're worse than most of the teams in the conference, and it's hard to get to nearly 40 wins.
Yeah, it's 40 is the number.
40 is a pretty high number, and it's like I look at the conference and I see like probably 5 teams who I think are worse, and they don't get 8 games against each of those teams. So I'm going to go under.
I don't even have them getting to the playing game. Like I think it's comfortably under.
Yeah. Same.
Rohan, did you give a?
Oh, I didn't actually, did I?
I was going to say, I was waiting on your verdict here.
I will go under on the Knicks.
Oh, I thought you were over.
It sounded like, was there a change of mind? Did you have a Jordan-esque argument with yourself?
Facilitating a discussion here.
Okay.
Oh, that's true, yeah. Am I coming in hotter than Rohan's hot chocolate right now?
I think so. I have them in the play-in. I just did a very rough count. I think I have them play-in worthy, but bottom of play-in.
Rohan, will you also issue an apology for your change of heart on a team from New York?
Apparently not. The
next team time.
This one breaks my heart. The Philadelphia 76ers, the line is 50.5. I just don't understand. They won 51 last year. I don't think their league's better, but I do think they're better, even if the conference is better. I hate betting on the Sixers. I want to make it very clear. This is a regular season thing. Doc Rivers and James Harden in the playoffs. It's just going to be a beautiful catastrophe. But I'm going to go over. I mean, I think low 50s is like very attainable. I think this is one of easily the best 3 teams in the East, and maybe one of the best 2. Yeah, I just think it's a pretty easy over for me.
I'm going under.
Wow.
Just like not in any sort of really dramatic way. I don't see them being that much beyond that. And I'm just increasingly losing faith in James Harden in every single way.
You get a full season of James Harden.
Do you ever?
Is that something you want?
No, it is.
You get a full season, but you don't get a full playoffs of James Harden.
Yeah,
that doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter for this.
Of course, you want it, but to what level? What you're really going to achieve here? I don't know. Like he's really got to kind of book some of the trends of his career at this point and does something.
He give up on them by February,
care?
Like he did the last 2 years?
Like, does he care at all about trying to win?
He had the best offseason. He gave up money.
Hate these reports.
Gave up money to get PJ Tucker, and they're going to be better. Come on.
I just don't see kind of. I don't see big strides. I think the East is better to the point where them kind of dropping a game or two after pace last year doesn't seem unrealistic at all to me. I have been kind of chuckling to myself as it seems like, as is the annual NBA tradition, NBA analysts, prognosticators have all started. They're like, is this the year the Sixers win the title?
I do agree with you on this.
Let me save you time now. No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's just not. Look at the roster. Look at their core guys. One thing, too, I hope I'm wrong on. Joel Embiid has been just so super healthy for a long time.
Regular seasons. But yeah.
Regular seasons. But I do think they've got a good slice of luck there that they will be doing very well if that continues. Like, that's not even... I'm very much not wishing that. I like watching Joel Embiid, the player, quite a lot. But just given his history and the problematic areas where he has had injuries for a player of his size, it's something that should be kind of an ongoing concern. It feels like everyone's put it to the back of their mind. And to me, it does feel like something that could just come back and kind of bite them at some point. And that is the other thing when I think of the Sixers too, and we talk about, Harden could be better and Harden could be this. Oh, if I was a Sixers fan, to even imagine like a 15-game stretch without Embiid, watching this team just feels really grim to me. It doesn't seem like fun, and I don't think they'd be anywhere near as good as they need to be. So Joel Embiid is more than capable of proving me very wrong, and if Harden is engaged and motivated, they could go and win 60-plus games. They're one of the few teams in the NBA capable of that. Don't see it, though. I think they'll be a little bit off that. Also, Doc Rivers, I mean, what year is this? I'm far past the point of buying
he's still
Doc
there.
Rivers.
I really can't
Careful.
believe he's still
He's
there.
bungled so many talented rosters. I don't know how he's still at it.
Everything post Boston is just hilarious. Jordan and Rohan, over or under 50.5 for Philly.
Over. Comfortably. I think this is the 1 seed in the East.
Oh, here we go.
I don't know about that. That one. That's very mild compared. If you didn't listen, I won't give it away. Don't give it away.
Don't give it away.
If you haven't listened to the Western one, Jordan's pick for the 1 seed.
I just wanted him to come in with a proclamation again. The sort of thing he never used to do in the past.
Yeah.
A tiger changes their stripes.
He's like Harden. Him and Harden are the same. That's why he's in on. He said, "Hey, if Harden can participate in an off-season workout regimen, I can have a hot take."
Exactly. I had the best offseason. I actually had an offseason. That's what I had. That's part of why I'm rejuvenated. Obviously, PJ Tucker headlined their offseason. I really like Melton on this team.
Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't sell me. He's the 8th man in the playoffs.
He shouldn't be.
All right. I mean, I can't get too mad. I'll let Noah Vonleh love slide. I won't get. I'm just sick of hearing about Melton.
I was just going to say Vonleh's better.
And if Jesus Christ. And if you talk about.
That's a joke.
Who's the
people take this so serious?
Who's the wing last year?
Not a joke that Novale is good, but he's
who's on his couch? Wing on his couch.
He was on his couch until middle last season. I think the Jazz signed him, and now he's on the Sixers. I'm blanking on it.
Daniel House.
Yeah. I just hear so much about those two players. I'm just like, yeah, they're fine.
They are fine. I mean, that is in the bigger picture.
Montrezl Harrell's on a bad backup center. Six man.
Again, it doesn't apply to this. When Doc is playing him 28 minutes in a playoff game, that's when he is. But yeah, in the regular season, it's fine.
For a regular season team, I think they have depth. They have pieces to also Tyrese Maxey. I mean, he's not going to win most improved because he just was so good last year. But like he's someone that if I watch a Bucks Sixers games, he just kind of scares me just because they don't. He's so good at like creating and hitting shots, and
he's what I thought Shake Milton was going to be. Maybe I was. I was pretty high on Shake. He's a cool name.
Also, Shake Milton's still on this team.
Yeah, it doesn't move.
They got Furkan. They have a solid roster, and come playoff time, it's going to fall apart. But for a regular season, it's gonna go.
I got bad turnovers. That's my Furkan problem. That was a meme back in the day. That's not an original joke. Don't make fun of me. But no, I'm saying over on this team. I think this team. I agree with Jordan. They might be the 1 seed in the East. They're going to be a regular season wins machine. They the only hole they really have on their roster is like backcourt defense, and you can get away with not having that in the regular season. That's the type of thing that gets exposed in the postseason. Yeah. I have no faith in this team in the postseason.
No,
and no one should. But that's not the question at hand here. I'm gonna say over. I think this team's gonna churn out wins.
They can afford to play Tybal in the regular season too, and that'll help with that. And again, it's almost everything about their team is like so regular season versus playoffs.
It's like last year's Utah.
Yeah. All right. We actually, funny enough, until the Sixers, we were 12 straight unders. And then Adam has been under on all 4 teams now. The rest of us over on the Sixers. Interesting one here. Toronto Raptors. Line is 46.5. They have one of a strong young second-year player, top 3 in Rookie of the Year voting in a loaded rookie class.
He won Rookie of the Year.
Oh, yeah, he won Rookie of the Year. That's right. It was just true. He's top 3 as well. They won 48 last year. The line is 46.5. They had Otto Porter. I get the conference is better. I don't know. I feel like 47, 48 is pretty doable for Toronto. I don't know if I'm going to lock it in yet, but I'm leaning slight over. I think they have a good coach, even if I'm sick of hearing about him. I don't know. I think they're going to be good again. I think they're going to be a very similar team to what they were last year.
Especially with the strides of their internal development, like a guy like Precious Achua who's been making just absolute leaps as a member of the Toronto Raptor
Yeah.
organization. I think this team's going to be like it's 47, 48 wins. I think they should be able to achieve pretty.
I think it's a pretty good line. I don't think it's a lock over, but I do think it should be probably an over.
I'm fairly confident that they'll hit the over. Like Pascal Siakam, how's he going to look? It's sort of an up and down year. Is he going to be fully back to All NBA form?
Can Fred VanVleet make a layup?
Yeah. That's the question. Is he going to have another child? Is that gonna impact anything?
Is the OG smoke real? There are some questions here.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Does OG want out? That's going to be a big storyline. Are they going to trade for Kevin Durant in the midseason? Who knows?
So
I'm going to say over.
My opinions over the years in Toronto Raptors have been very, very consistent. I've always thought they sucked, even when they routinely beat the Bucks. I could never believe it. I thought this joke of a team, these joke of players, that ends now. I really think this Raptors team this year is going to be good. I'm taking the over.
Saw it coming.
I'm penciling them in for 50 wins.
Wow.
This is the 2 or the 3 seed in the East for me.
Wow.
That's the kind of mix we're in. I think there's a few factors. I don't think this is particularly spicy. I think you've got a mixture of guys who, of course, they were around for the championship run, but they weren't the stars, obviously, and they're still waiting for their moment. They're close to it now. I think they will have real reason to want to drive this team to a really strong regular season. And you've got some other guys then who are, whether it's to the extreme of Scotty Barnes as a younger player, or even someone like Gary Trent Jr. Who's come in from elsewhere, that I think are, like, the ingredients are there for this team to be really good in the regular season. And I also think to be pretty good in the postseason. I don't think there's like any remote chance that they win a championship, but I do think they'll go into the playoffs as one of the higher seeds in the East, and they'll be a really tough out. They will probably lose because they're going to be worrying about teams with just superstars that far exceed the talent they have.
Yeah.
But until that point, I think this is going to be a really tough out. And I'm with you, Ty, on Nick Nurse. As much as I don't like to hear about it all the time, he is a good coach. And if we're going to compare, like, I'm at risk of saying something about Doc Rivers once again. Like, if we're talking about teams that are in the mix up the top end, I'm going with Nick Nurse over the likes of Doc Rivers or whatever the hell we're going to get in Boston. So that's something that's a real advantage to them, and their continuity. Like, look, we'll talk about it when we do a Bucks pod, and we've talked about it a lot for a long time. They are very similar. They don't have Giannis. That's what happens when you have Kawhi and he leaves. But they are very similar in a lot of other ways organizationally to where the Bucks are at. And I think there are similarities just in terms of kind of the place they hold from a leadership perspective, Bud and Nick Nurse, and then also in having just some core players who've been around for a long time. So, yeah, I really never before been in on the Raptors, but this season I do think the Raptors are good.
I went into this with them as an under, a very slight one. They were the hardest. Yes, it has. I'm giving them the over that I did not give Brooklyn. They were the hardest one to peg.
By your own underpick.
I'm once again bewildered. They were the hardest team to peg just because you look at their roster. It's like, it's a good roster. It's not great. They have an ascending player, but it's not, reaching a level of like, he is like a superstar. He may be that one day, but is that day going to come during the season? But Adam's point, the Raptors have an identity, and you can plug in DJ Wilson, who I don't know if he's going to make the roster. Is he a guaranteed guy? He probably is.
Jordan, random question for you here. Are you rooting for DJ Wilson's success?
I would love to.
He didn't say he is. He said he would love to. That's different.
Are you? Do you want to ask me that question?
Yeah, Adam? Adam. What is it?
No, I couldn't care less.
Thank you.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's where I am. It's fine. I'm not rooting against
who cares?
it. Yeah.
Jordan, we'll be the empaths here. Okay,
that's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think they have a clear identity. They can plug in any players as they want and play this weird no center lineup, but be long as hell and just clobber through people. So yeah, I think this is over. I don't know if 50 is in the cards, but they'll come close to it.
Can I just before you say something there, can I make a comp? Because this team reminds me, maybe more than any other team since it, of
the Hawks.
Bud 60-win Hawks.
Yes.
The makeup of this team, and just the kind of, you look across and you're like, yeah, well, how are they going to be that good? And the answer is they've got like 5 or 6 guys who could give you maybe 15 points per game.
Yeah.
And they're really good defensively. They're really versatile. Like, I think that's at the heart of what a lot of this team is. They're not going to win 60 games, as I've said. I just think those days are kind of gone now. But I do think this is a team that reminds me quite a lot of that team. And the difference is they've got like Scotty Barnes. And so that gives you the potential to, maybe you do have your superstar and you can kind of grow into that, whether it's this season or in the next few years.
We didn't even mention Pascal Siakam, really, who averaged nearly 23 points per game, 8.5 rebounds, and 5.3.
It seems like he's back after a bit of a downturn there previously. I think having someone like Scotty Barnes out there too has been helpful to him. Clearly not a lead guy, Siakam, but still one hell of a player. Yeah, I think this is, even though a lot of unders early, probably the best division in the NBA, which doesn't help any of these teams, especially the Knicks. But yeah, I think the Raptors, I'm going to solidify the over. I know I waffled slightly earlier. Just think they're good. And I like the Hawks comp. Winning 50 in this East might be kind of similar to winning 60 in that East.
For sure.
Good comp. The Southeast Division, a division we will not say is maybe the best in the NBA. The Atlanta Hawks, fittingly enough, are up next. The over-under is a flat 46. Last year, they won 43. Obviously, the big move is adding DeJounte Murray. Although they really killed my vibes. I was very positive on them after that trade. Then they just kind of gave away Kevin Huerter for no real reason. Don't really get that one with Bogdan Bogdanovic's health. But where do we come in on the...
You get a Holiday.
Yeah, the least inspiring one. But yeah. Sorry, Justin.
No, they have both. They have Aaron and Justin.
They do. They have both.
Oh.
It's happy holidays in Atlanta.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Where are we at on the...
We gotta save the Christmas tune until Joe Ingles comes back, remember?
That's true. Oh, it's going to be very festive. Anybody got a...
We said we'd do a custom Jingle Bells when...
I think you should do it based on your Joe Ingles takes. I think you should take the lead on that. And your singing prowess.
We both.
Yeah,
no, I think
said we both do it. It's hilarious. I signed both of us up.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Go ahead.
Are you ready?
Say under.
I wanted to say under so bad.
Did you come into it ready to say under?
Jordan is just in a constant state of bewilderment in this pod.
When I did the practice of going through the teams, it was the first team that I saw. I was like, 46.
Did you do a mock pod earlier?
I did not do a mock pod.
He did a rehearsal.
Yeah, exactly. I did a rehearsal of this podcast. I wanted to do it because I was like, okay, DeJounte Murray is a really good player. Gave up a lot. Kevin Huerter, they just basically gave away. Bogdan's hurt. Don't know when he's coming back. IDK. But then I looked at their win total last year. I was like, okay, so you're asking them to just win 4 more games. And they have a better roster. I think the problem that I could see them getting tripped up is just staying out of their own way, because John Collins is in the endless purgatory of trade rumors when they go bad. Nate McMillan is a really good head coach. He's not the one to bring you home the trophy, if you will. But all that said, I think it's just the math game. I think it's enough for me to be like, if DeJounte Murray plays to what he played with the Spurs with less talent around him before they just fell off the face of the earth with their roster, I think Atlanta's a comfortable over.
I have a push. Sorry, go on. You go. I have a push.
Okay, I'll say my thing. I say over mostly for the same reasons that Jordan did. You add, like, I've always been a big DeJounte Murray fan. Just seeing his development with the San Antonio Spurs. Seeing, like, he's just a monster defender. He's like my type, like one of my favorite archetypes of players is like a big guard. like he fits that perfectly. He finally ascended to like all-star level last season. It's just that type of addition. I think he can be a perfect backcourt mate with Trae Young. I don't know. I think it's going to work. Do I think they're going to be a fantastic elite team? No. Do I think they're going to reach 47, 48 wins? Yeah.
I think they might get 50. I'm way over on the Hawks. There is a contingency though. If Hunter stays healthy, Hunter more than anyone in those blasted Abu Dhabi games really impressed me with the way he moves and what he can do on both sides of the ball. I think if he is, and I know it's kind of like saying like not as bad as Zion, but he just hasn't, right? So it's a big if. But I do think a lineup of Trae, Murray, Hunter, Collins. I think Onyeka Okongwu might be better than Capella, but still two very good center options.
If they get a rejuvenated Capella season, I think that him and Hunter are very on the same place, so that you just need a good year out of them, and then that might guarantee them 50 wins.
Yeah, and I'm not sure I'm so sold on the depth. I think if they had just kept Herter as their sixth man and then step in for Hunter if he is out, I'd be really high on them. I'm a little concerned about it, but I do think they're just going to chug out wins, and having some really good defensive options around Trae, both on the perimeter and on the back line, is a really smart way to build this team. So yeah, I think over. Also, this this division, I should say, is bad. I mean, Miami is good, but I think the rest of it looks really bad to me. So I like the Hawks going over here.
Yeah, I'm a push, as I said. I think 46 on the number feels about right. This team definitely has the potential to go beyond that. Like, I really like DeJounte Murray and his fit there alongside Trae Young. I really like what they have in the front court. I think their wing depth really sucks, and with Bogdanovic out, it's a concern. Like, I think you're completely nail on with DeAndre Hunter is vital for this team. They need him.
He's like one of the biggest players to this season.
Yeah, a massive swing player for his team. Like, they could be a real
the team. I think it's in the league.
To the conference then too. Yeah. And the role they could play within it. Because with Bogdanovic out, that's something that they just don't have a lot. Justin Holiday, I mean, I feel like we've moved past that point. And part of that then becomes, like, do they have to get creative and play in some really weird ways, play super big? And does that work?
They do have AJ Griffin. They just drafted. Looks pretty good so far, but he's a rookie. And I think the other swing piece, in addition to Hunter, Milwaukee's own Jalen Johnson, who it sounds like they are going to play this year. I watched him play.
Where do those minutes come, though? Do you think? Because we talk even as you move towards their front court situation, like, you're gonna have to find minutes for Okongwu. Like, you really need to. Capella is, to me, still going to be their starting center. Then, as you said, now maybe the answer to some of this is, well, John Collins does get traded, or they fully commit to Okongwu and he gets traded, and then just small forward, power forward, and center become much more crystallized. And
I think I think he's going to have to be a 3 for them mostly. Jalen Johnson, which I think is fine. He's just kind of a question mark. He's kind of a mystery box. I watched him play for their G League team in Oshkosh. And the guy looks like he should just be like LeBron, like his presence, his body type, like he looks like he should just be great. It just wasn't all put together, right? So who knows how that'll work for them? Could be big, but yeah, there's certainly big ifs on the wing rotation. No question. Again, I don't get the Herter thing at all. I guess you want the defense. I just think Herter's actually quite good. It's a bizarre trade.
To Jordan's point too, I feel like there's a chance we've reached the ceiling of Nate McMillan, and I would be a lot less surprised if Nate McMillan is the first NBA coach to be fired.
I think they'll just be too good. I think it would be postseason.
If they stumble at all, he's in big trouble.
They didn't. That didn't stop them from firing Lloyd Pierce too. Like, they don't have. Granted, that was like, okay, they hired Nate McMillan, who's a former NBA head coach at like 3 different teams. He's the next in line. If anything goes wrong, he's going to feel the brunt of it, for sure.
Travis Schlenk is an interesting character. And he's made very ruthless decisions when it comes to coaches. And my feeling on it is just that there is a good chance that internally, they're probably already at a point where like, yeah, Nate is probably not the guy who's getting us all the way there. So I don't think it will take much for that to go wrong, which is funny because even when Jordan first brought that up, I started thinking to myself, yeah, I wonder who the Hawks Bud could be, which is a hilarious sentence in its own right. Particularly considering how Travis Slank was not too keen on Bud being there, and then Bud was like, yeah, I don't want to be here either, which that worked out for not all parties necessarily, but certainly for one party.
If they had just drafted Luka, would we have them like a favorite to win the championship this year?
If they drafted Luka, they're at another stratosphere.
Yeah, I mean that's always fun to think about the Luka
Trey
teams.
is incredible, but that's
I know. I kind of feel bad for Trey. Also, imagine if the Suns was Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Luka, or whatever order. Like it's just funny to think about the Luka.
You wouldn't even you wouldn't trade for Chris Paul then.
I'm glad that wasn't the case because the Bucks probably wouldn't have a championship.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they would though. The too many things change.
Yeah. Anyway, next up, Charlotte Hornets. Sorry, Andrew, in advance. They won 43.
Andrew, turn it off.
They won 43. LaMelo's out. Miles Bridges sits in RFA forever. The line is 34 even. Gordon Hayward never plays games except on early January on a specific day when they play the Bucks. That's the worst Bucks game of the year. He's going to drop 70.
Oh God, he's going to break Wilt's record.
Yeah. Daddy, I'm going to go under on the 34 though. I think they're going to be terrible. I think they might just lean into sucking, and they could be a Wemby try team for me.
Yeah, I'm going way under. I think this might be one of the worst lines in the NBA, and I feel bad for that because Andrew has been telling me how bad the Hornets have been for a long time, and every time he's brought up, I'm like, well, they're not that bad. They're not that bad. And I looked at their roster today, and I was like, oh my God, this team is terrible. They're so bad. And any time missed by LaMelo, it's going to get so ugly. To start the season like that could just set a tone that they cannot recover from. They have not had good luck. They have also not helped themselves out in a variety of ways. I hope it turns soon because LaMelo is really fun, and I would like to see them build a fun team around him. Maybe they will be able to do exactly that because they'll be so bad this year. I mean, maybe that's how it works out, and that could work out to be really good for Hornets fans. But yeah, I think this line is way off. It feels super wrong. I don't know, is that one that was kind of pre-LaMelo injury and it hasn't been fully adjusted.
Said it was updated yesterday.
I think it's still super high.
Steve Clifford's back.
Oh,
we excited about that? We excited about that? The Magic.
I think he's a very good coach.
The Magic and Hornets are the same org. I'm convinced.
Yeah, they are.
I'm ready.
Oh God!
No way! Come on.
Over?
They're the 1 seed in the East.
Or did you come in? Did you come in with the over, and now you're going to the under? Who could say?
I'm sticking with the over.
Wow. You a big JT Thor guy? Is Kai Jones wet your whistle?
Yes, JT Thor with his hammer.
Whoa!
Kai Jones is doing what?
Make sure to mark this episode as explicit.
No. Get your minds out of the gutter, folks.
You said it.
Let's go through it.
Oh, let's go.
I don't know what we're going through.
Talking about Kai Jones.
We're gonna do it. This is gonna be our Utah Jazz of the East.
I don't think
43 wins last year. 43 wins last year. So a 9-win slip.
Yep.
Yeah, their second best player should be in jail.
Yeah,
that's
may end up in jail.
Problem.
Well, yeah.
That is a very good point. Very good point. However,
it's a big part of the problem. Their best player is injured. Your second best player doesn't look likely to play in the NBA anytime soon.
No, but I still think I think Steve Clifford gets the best out of his rosters.
Jordan just doesn't want to have to apologize again.
History?
No, I will say I think someone's got to be in the middle tier. Not everybody's going to be.
Give Steve Clifford Adams Jazz, and they're winning the title, baby.
I actually don't think someone needs to be in the middle tier. I think there might just be like 9 good teams and then 6 awful teams.
Careful here, Ty.
What?
But also, what is the middle tier? If you're taking the over, like how many wins are you? They just scraping the over?
I think they just scrape. I think New York is going to be worse than them.
No, I don't think so. No. I think the Hornets have just drafted so many guys who aren't good, and they still have them all. And it's just like, I just don't know what they do.
There's definitely a stagnancy that just does not make sense with where it looked like it was heading.
I think if Hayward plays like 80 games, they could maybe finish the over and pass the Knicks, but there's no reason to ever expect that. And LaMelo gets healthy fast. I'm not saying Hayward's more important than LaMelo, but he is, if you look at their win percentage with and without him, it's drastic. And of course it is. Like when he plays, he's still a very good offensive player. He plays half the games.
I think there's only 2 teams in the East they could be better than, and I'd only bet them being better than one of them.
Oh, wow.
Wait,
whoa.
You think 2?
Let's not even.
I have the Hornets at 28 wins. Like, I think they're terrible.
I mean, that means you're really high on one of 3 teams coming up. I think I can guess.
Really high is the stretch. Just to get out in front of that one. Really high is the stretch.
Okay.
We may have some more Jazz situations coming, but not really high.
Under.
Okay.
Team sucks.
Yeah.
Sorry, Andrew, but you might get Wembanyama. Excuse me.
Yeah.
That will be a good consolation prize.
Even Scoot and LaMelo. That would be awesome.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, that's the nice thing. LaMelo is so young. If they do stuck and they get a good pick, they're going to be in a solid spot. Just don't blow it like they've blown every other non-LaMelo. And I guess Miles Bridges, although complicated.
Yeah.
Miami Heat, they won 53 and were the 1 seed last season. Made a shot away from the finals somehow, despite looking out of gas pretty much all year. The line is 48.5 on the Heat. They lose PJ Tucker. They retain pretty much everyone else. Rohan saying under pretty quickly.
Under.
Really?
This team didn't get better.
They're fake.
This is it.
I disagree. Over.
This is a team that's aging. Kyle Lowry was unfortunately dealing with a lot of personal issues last year, which caused him to miss a majority of the season. I hope him and everyone around him is doing well. I hope he's better. When he played, he didn't look as good. And that's just this. They're going to regret that sign and trade, which they got dinged a 2nd-round pick for.
Agree with you there. I agree with you on that.
It's not going to go well. This team did nothing to really improve itself this season.
Yeah, I agree with you on that too. I just don't think they got that much worse. They're probably going to win like 49 or 50. It's a slight over.
They lost a starter.
Yeah, I mean, we would have killed them if they had given PJ that contract too, though. I mean, I get it makes them worse.
I don't like the PJ contract, but I think the alternative, which is their new reality, is much, much worse.
I don't think it's much worse. I think they'll be fine.
You lose them for nothing.
Yeah, we've been there. The Bucks were
and I didn't like it then.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I don't think it tanks them to lose PJ Tucker.
Yeah, but they're not as good as the Bucks. From the area they have to come from, I think losing PJ Tucker is a massive deal. Like, there are also players I'm not a believer in Tyler Hero at all. Like,
does what he does. I don't think he's going to get way better. I think he does what he does.
He may get worse. I wouldn't expect to see him be that guy.
Pretty unfair
throughout his career.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's not fair. That's what I think, Ty.
That's fine.
I don't believe in this team at all. There are paths too. Like, maybe Max Strus has another year like last year, goes better. Maybe Duncan Robinson becomes the Duncan Robinson he once was. But I don't really fear this team at all from a Bucks perspective anymore. And I think when you just look around the rest of the East, again, I think they're going to be big victims of. It's now a big boys conference. And there's a lot of teams, even teams who are much earlier in their journey and very much on an upward trajectory. But like, do you think the Hawks or the Cavs or teams like that are afraid of the Heat anymore? I think they've got more going for them in terms of depth in quite a few ways too. It doesn't mean that the Heat won't come up with 1 or 2 players that at this point do not mean anything to me.
It's going to be Jovic.
Now, I'll be like,
Jovic is going to be like this.
Well, Jovic would be the logical one, but look, we'll see. I do think the PJ thing is a real loss, though. Even just Heat culture, right? They don't necessarily need a guy set culture like some of the other teams, particularly seeing as Udonis Haslem is still getting paid by the Miami Heat to be on a roster.
They threw a parade for him.
But PJ was the guy who was actually playing, who would kind of step up and be that voice, and let's say maybe also keep some other figures with big personalities in check.
Oh, I don't know. I think Jimmy's in lockstep with them. I think Jimmy is the guy. I think he is the culture. I also think he's better than everyone on any team except like 4 teams maybe in the East. I just think they win a lot of games. They play really hard. Maybe Lowry looks better, maybe not. I just think they're going to win 49 games. That's just what we've seen from Jimmy, the will that he has, the fact that they really seem to care about these regular season games for whatever reason. I agree with you. I think the Bucks would roundhouse kick them in a series. I also think it's their worst matchup possible given their spacing concerns and how comfortable Brook is in that series and how big of a Rubicon that is for the Bucks and their chances against the given team. But I think they're going to win 49 or 50 games. Jovic will look good right away. I think Robinson probably is back in the fold and plays because he kind of has to. They really like Caleb Martin. He's going to play at the 4. I don't love their offseason at all. I just think this is what they do, and they're going to grind out a bunch of wins, especially against bad teams and against some good teams too, if you don't take them seriously enough.
Over. For the same reasons that Ty said. They're going to be finally close to a fine-tuned machine regular season-wise. It's a matter of just finishing in the playoffs, and don't really see that this year.
They still almost beat the Celtics, though. Like
it is true.
Like it wasn't like they were a bad playoff team.
I think that's more on the Celtics. The Celtics
went to the finals. I mean, I just don't know what else. I mean, the Heat, they were first in the East, and they were in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. They lost PJ Tucker.
There's more nuance to that.
But I'm just saying those things both happened.
Do we think they have been playing exactly to their level, or have they been overachieving someone?
I think they get 110%.
I would say play to their level.
I think just over, okay. But I just expect them to continue.
I feel they're
so.
overachieving.
Yeah,
and I just think it's tougher for them to live at that level because the conference is better. Like to me, they could very comfortably be the 8th seed. Now that doesn't mean they suck because the East is going to be competitive, and there's a very good chance that some pretty good team could fall to that kind of tier.
Yeah,
but they're the team that I would identify as kind of most likely of the kind of already established good teams in the East.
I would be really surprised. I'd be surprised if they won less than Cleveland, which I think is going to be a very hot take for a lot of people, but I think they'll be better. Anyway, we'll get to Cleveland. They'll definitely be better than their neighbors down there in Florida. The Orlando Magic, the line is 27. Last year... What?
Will they?
Yes. Last year they won 22. They had Paolo Banchero is the main addition. Their young guys look good. Everyone loves Franz Wagner, Wendell Carter. Still have Mo Bamba, at least for now. Some good young players. Yeah, we were talking about the good young players.
John Hammond dream.
How do we feel about the 27 mark for the Orlando Magic here?
Over.
Wow.
Slight over.
Oh, my goodness. I'm going under.
Under.
I've got multiple games over.
Oh my! We spend all this time talking about how good the rest of the East is. Where are they? They're getting 30 wins. Playing. Who are they better than?
I think they'll kind of eke out a lot of wins here or there. Like it's again, this is not like to be a 30-win team in the NBA is not the highest bar.
It is when you're coming off 22.
But I think with the trajectory of their players, like with the makeup of their roster, I think they have got lots of good, intriguing young players that it's not a stretch to be like, yeah, they could improve by 8 games this year.
I think it is in this conference.
I think for me, the big thing for me is Jalen Suggs is already hurt. Granted, it's not like a long-term injury, but it's still enough to kind of stifle progress. Then you're looking at Markelle Fultz. Cole Anthony's kind of just been like, meh. I know Banchero is first overall picking high expectations. I just don't see.
Don't forget Franz Wagner.
Franz Wagner is very good.
He's going to be their best player this year. I like him a lot.
Like, I just think they kind of did. That's why I like them. Is I feel like they have enough interesting young guys that they can just kind of replay with that, and I do think some of them are going to stick in a meaningful way. Which I know this has kind of been the thing with the Magic forever, but I do think they're actually at a point now where they might find something that could be the basis of a team they can build with.
I think their issue is something you said earlier, Adam, about a different team. I think in the last episode, I don't think they have enough adults in the room. I think that's their biggest issue.
It's like the Rockets for me.
I think
Gary
they need
Harris
more.
has to be that, which is a tough
That's
one. Or
fine.
Terrence
They have
Ross.
Terrence Ross.
It's like-
It's more,
And Harris
more
is
time on
hurt
Twitch.
too, isn't he? Did he get hurt over the summer?
I don't know on that one. I didn't
Maybe
think
in
so.
time. Maybe he's going to be ready in time for
It
this.
seems likely. I mean, that's kind of his last few years. So I can't say for sure that Gary Harris has not got hurt.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that, but I'm not saying this is a team that's going to go and like win 40 games.
No, I know.
And I know his injuries have been up and down. His fit with the Bulls is weird. I'm still a big Wendell Carter believer too. I just really
good
like
there.
his game.
Yeah.
And I think there are enough really interesting pieces. I'm someone who have not been interested in the Magic for a very long time, but I do think there is enough there that this season, I actually kind of think I wouldn't mind seeing some Magic games, and I do think that they'll pick up some wins along the way.
I think the Hornets win more games than the Magic.
No, not for me.
I think it's going to be pretty tight. Those two.
They'll be tight.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of teams, even when we think of the bad teams in the West that we talked about, like I think these Magic players are just more competent than what they're going to go up against with a lot of the teams who are just outright like working to be bad.
I agree, but they're only going to play those teams
there's going to be
twice
sweeps.
each.
Yeah, I was going to say
sweeps here or there, and there's potential for that in the East too. I mean, there are multiple teams still, not quite as many, or not
the
as
same
bad.
level. Yeah,
but there is potential for them to pick up wins. I don't think it's a stretch for them to be.
I think they're going to win like 25. I think they'll get a little better because I do like their young players too. But Rohan, go ahead. You haven't gotten to speak much about Orlando.
I think it was Adam who said this. They haven't they're more competent. The players are more competent.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be a great team. I think they probably get to 30 wins. But I like the talent they have there. It's just I think they're not going to be that bad. Like it's hard to be that bad.
They found a way this past season. I don't know. I feel like they had really good seasons from their young guys, and they were still a 22-win team. So that's why I just think you had Paolo. Some of those guys are Paolo.
A lot of their guys were always in and out though. I mentioned this. Like my favorite archetype player is a big guard. I'm still a big believer in Markelle Fultz, man. Big believer.
Their guards
looked
don't
good when he
move
came.
me.
He looked good when he came back last season.
Their guards just don't move me. I think that's the other issue is their guard play.
It's really...
Jalen Suggs can only go up.
Not if he doesn't play. And RJ Hampton exists, I think. Like it just makes me sad, some of these teams. It's like all these picks and they're all just kind of in the mud there. I don't know. I think it's kind of hard sometimes to emerge from that with a clear hierarchy at some of these positions too. We'll see.
Plus, I think we're a little bit underrating the impact that Paolo can have year one.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I think he's a good prospect. I don't think it's a great top-end draft, quite honestly.
It's fair.
But yeah,
I think he's got better prospects around him though than some of the other kind of top picks on bad teams.
100%, 100%.
There's a better base like that is I think the core of what's interesting about them and what good like if he does click right for the jump like then the Magic finally have something very real to work with and build around. And if that happens, I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of the other guys, let's say like a Jalen Suggs type, who's very far from setting the world alight at this point, like find another level. And a lot of those kind of players could step up together and be something that's kind of greater than the sum of their parts.
Yeah.
Again, be clear. It's like
no, I know. You're saying
we're talking
30
wins.
I know.
Like the fantasy season for the Magic, which I don't think is impossible, is like they get 32 wins, and everyone's like, "Whoa, the Magic are like alive," and that's still pretty bad.
Yeah. Washington Wizards. They won 35 last year. The line is 35.5. Speaking of teams who continually just decimate their own draft picks. Wizards fans are already out on Wisconsin's own Jonathan Davis. I'm going under. I don't care about the Wizards. I'm not even going to think about it that much. I'm sick of everyone talking about Brad Beal like this elite player. Win some games. How about that? How about win some games? How about it's a 10-team postseason? How about do something in it? I just want to see that from Brad Beal. That's all. That's all I want to see. Brad or Kamaya might see this. I apologize. I just want to see it.
No, don't apologize. You can't say it. You can't.
I mean it. I'm not taking it back. I don't mean
that's
to
as heated as I've seen you in years.
I'm sick of the guys who aren't making an outsized impact just don't want to hear about that much. Just not that interested.
So I'm taking the over because I really like Bradley Beal.
Yeah. Fair enough.
The dichotomy here.
I think he's good. I think he's a
fine.
good player.
Yeah.
And I think they've got other good players around it. I'm a big Monte Morris fan, and I think he's a nice addition here. Again, like, this is relevant for all of them. This is not a fun, exciting team. They are boring as hell. But I think they're going to get 36 wins. Would be where I have, like, I'll give them the half game over. They're not really, I don't see any path to being much better than that. I think play in and be brushed aside comfortably by a much better team is probably like the best case for them. But I think they can live up to that.
This team sucks.
I could see the over. I just don't want to. I mean, if Porzingis plays, if Beal plays, which neither of which have happened very frequently in recent years.
They have a lot of guys I wouldn't want on my team, like if I was serious about winning.
Kind of baking
but that they're going to score a lot of points and they're going to win games. Will Barton, Kyle Kuzma, these kind of guys.
I'm high on Kuzma, but no, this team is not going to win 36 games.
Jordan's going to say they're going to win 50 games.
They're actually inside track on the 1 seed.
If an NBA team was 500, like the number 500 and how you associate, like word association, it is the Washington Wizards. I'm going to over.
Well, you've got to go over if you're saying they're 500.
Yes. Bradley Beal played 40 games last year and they won 35 games. If he plays one more game, that eclipses the over. This team is just perennially just like
better East.
It's a better East, but I also think, I don't know. They have competent players. It's not great players. It's just they're just so underwhelming in every regard. Just say the word Wizards. It's like, ugh.
Do they beat the Sun though?
Oh boy. All right, I think that's it on the list. I see the points. I could clearly see them going over. I've just been waiting for them to really kind of implode, and it just feels like it has to happen at some point because they're clearly not going in the other direction.
No, they're not.
They only make moves. They make moves to tread water. That's what they do.
Yeah, but that has a shelf life. You can't do that forever, as we saw with the Bucks, who tried to do that forever. Eventually, it just falls out.
That is what they are.
They are the Bucks trying to continually win 40 games, and it just but they do it by doing bad things.
The problem the Bucks had is the Bucks were trying to tread water when they were already below the surface. Where the Wizards successfully treaded water for a while. So they at least got to start from.
There's still room for them.
They were actually a 500 team and regularly making the playoffs, not very occasionally making it.
I suppose.
I think that's the difference.
I still think the general principle applies.
Sure.
You just can't. The real swing, I think, for them, health is a big one. Like, is Corey Kispert anything? Is Danny Avdia anything? Is Rui Hachimura anything? Is Jonathan Davis anything? They've drafted so many guys who's just like...
They draft so poorly.
You just look at all the wings. You're like, are any of these guys NBA players? Oh, is it Johnny?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Here's Johnny.
No, I'm not doing it as a bit. We'll wait to see if he's remarkable.
Who's named? I missed that. Who did you?
I keep calling Johnny Davis Jonathan.
You keep calling him the lead singer from Korn.
Also, the Brewers outfielder who probably factors much more prominently into my life.
That is probably it.
Yeah, that's what it is.
He's no longer a Brewer, but
he's gone already. Yeah. But still, I think the year they had with him will probably be more important to me than anything Johnny Davis. We'll see. Maybe it'll be more.
Wow, that's quite a call.
Wizards draft history, man. Since Beal, it has been not ideal. Central Division. We'll do 4 of them. Yeah. What's the deal, Beal? This one's going to hurt me too. The Chicago Bulls. They won 46 last year. Really amazing start. Wheels totally fell off due to injury and their players not actually being that good. But the line is 41.5. I'm going to shock the world. I've done so much Bulls negativity. They're not getting nearly enough crap for such an uninspiring offseason. I'm going to take the over. Like, very, very slight. They're not awful. DeRozan and Levine are still pretty good. The Lonzo thing is concerning, but think they probably win 42 games. I mean, it's not that difficult.
Yeah, they just need to go 500. I think I'm going to take the over.
No, they need to go better. The line's 41 and a half.
They do.
Yeah.
They need to go one game above 500. Yeah. I know math. I think like it's fine. Like they're not inspiring to me in any sense of the word. They're not going to be any sort of a factor come the postseason. I think they'll win 42 games. It's close. I think I'm literally saying they're going to go over by half a game.
I'm going under. I think they'll win 39. I'm not crazy about this team at all. I'm not crazy with the fit. And I do think a lot of the drop-off we saw last season and then into just how toothless they were against the Bucks as well. I think that's who they are, though. I think
that's who they are without Zach LaVine. The health of him will probably be what swings this line.
Listen, talking up Zach LaVine is not going to get me to change my mind about any team. Not a big Zach LaVine guy.
They've won 46 with the same group, just won 40. They added no one. They added no one. They didn't do anything. So
yeah, but I don't think they're a 46-win team. Ratio. Just because they've won 46 doesn't mean they win 46 again this year.
No, I think it means they win 42. Dalen Terry's interesting. Pat Williams is healthier. Looks
I
pretty
like
good
Pat Williams. Pat Williams is one of the only players on the roster I actually think like, oh yeah, I like that. I get the point of it. No, just like they'll be in the play-in mix. But
yeah, I agree with that.
To me, very, very Wizardsy too. Like just in how uninspiring. They've got better players at the top end, but I think they've got, to me, the least inspiring better players that you could have on a team. And I do think their ceiling is capped really, really low. And it might have just been last year.
Under.
Wow.
Under. This team had the worst offseason I can remember in a long time, especially for a team with expectations. The other reason why I think this is relevant with their going under. Bulls were 25. Under? Yeah, I'm going under.
The Bulls are, though?
They're going under. 25 and 16 in clutch games. How many times did DeMar DeRozan will them to victory in late game situations? And the fact that he was, you could have argued that he could have been a top 5 MVP candidate last year.
Yeah,
just because
he was at one point in the season.
Yeah, so I just think they didn't make any meaningful changes when they arguably should have.
I agree.
They have a decent starting lineup, not a great one. Nikola Vucevic, that has not aged great for them at all.
Imagine
just great for him either.
Carter Jr.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is a comfortable under. I think it's going to be. I don't see where this team is heading, and they have committed a lot of money towards it. The only saving grace is Billy Donovan teams. They just kind of, again, they don't. It's not middle of the road. It's a little higher than middle of the road, but it's not that much greater. So I guess that's the only thing that would make me give me pause about going under. But I think they've got one more year before the wheels fall off, is where I'm at. I think they're decent for one more year, and then the year after they don't do anything again, and then they suck. The fact that Lonzo is
he's gone. He's gone. He's not playing. I'm not reporting that, but there's no way he's gonna.
Do you mean to tell me you don't think a guy that can't run and jump a month before the regular season is not going to play this?
I've never seen this many negative reports in a row about a player. It just doesn't happen like this. It shouldn't.
But it's also shocking to me. It's sad. It's super sad. I don't mean to make light of all that, but it is shocking to me how much he's just this Band-Aid with this team that I just don't understand. Same with Caruso. Caruso's really good, and when we saw firsthand when he was out, how much that affected the Bulls. It's just that's where to me it's okay, if someone like Lonzo Ball being out for, let's just say, a good portion of the season, how do they what are they going to do? Are they going to go after Jay Crowder, or what are they going to try to find some help?
I'd actually really like that for them. That'd be good.
It wouldn't be bad, but it's just I just don't see where this team is headed.
No, I agree with that totally. Again, I think they chug through one more low 40s year, and then
I think
they're too locked in. They can't really pivot, and then they're just awful because Levine gets a little worse, DeRozan gets worse, Vucevic. I don't know how much worse you can get. That's rude, but I think
Aya takes a leap though.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I like Aya.
Yeah.
I think if they, I'd feel a lot better about the over if they did trade like Kobe White for Jay Crowder or something like that. I just think so that some pieces there, I guess. Might as well just keep going all in because probably not going to have a future anyway, right? So what?
What's going to happen?
This core.
Oh,
yeah.
That's what I'm not saying.
Like the Bulls are on like sound footing. That's what I'm saying. Jordan kept saying they're going under. I'm going, they're going under? Now you're saying they won't have a future?
Yeah, I mean.
World's ending, baby.
Also that. Cleveland Cavaliers won 44 last year. 48 flat is the line. I think them and the Pelicans feel like, kind of the Timberwolves, but they were actually pretty good last year, are the teams everyone's really excited about, I think, making the leap this season. 48, not a low number, but of course they had Donovan Mitchell. They were really banged up last season. Ricky Rubio is back, although not going to play to start the year. It's a tough one. Where does anyone have strong feelings about this line?
I have strong feelings about the line. The line's insane. I came into this whole exercise being like, yeah, I'm a big believer in the Cavaliers. I'm ready to be excited about the Cavs. I think it's a fun roster. I think there's a lot of that fits really well together. What's the line? I'm like, oh, actually, I'm on the under.
Oh.
Like, I just find it very difficult this season with the Cavs to go over on that. Like, when you're going to be working some stuff out, they're still a very, very young team with a lot of players who are still finding their way. I think they're going to be great to watch. I think they'll be fun on any given night. They could be a really pesky playoff out even, particularly if you get like the version of Donovan Mitchell we have seen in the past where he kind of steps up under the bright lights in the playoffs. And I think
in the bubble. Oh,
well, there'll be some more shot making around them this time than he had in Utah for sure. Like there are other players who could do stuff, which is interesting as a fit. And yet with the likes of Mobley and Jared Allen, you've still got really strong defensive centers. I love this roster. I really like how it's constructed. I think they'll be really good. 48 wins is a ton for a team coming from where they were. So I'm just below it, but I think this is a crazy, crazy line.
Jordan,
I have them at 48.
Oh, I was gonna push. You're taking my thing.
I have them just around 40. I think, like you mentioned, Ty, they were really, really banged up in the second half of last season, which is why their wins started to just fall off. Like the record, I should say, sort of fell off a cliff in the latter stages of the season is because they just couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah.
Guys were in and out. Jared Allen was in and out. Evan Mobley was out. Like Darius Garland missing time. Like if you can get those guys healthy, plus you have like a guy in Donovan Mitchell who's like a bona fide shot creator, shot maker. Add him to, like, I'm really, really high on Darius Garland. I think both of those two together, like, sure, there might be some defensive concerns, but that's okay when you have Evan Mobley and Jared Allen on your back line. I think this team, I think they're going to be pretty good. I think 48 wins is perfect for them.
I did slide under. I, again, like the pieces, like a lot of the players independent of one another. And then when you add someone like Donovan Mitchell, it's a perfect move for them. Still think probably, I mean, their starting three is like the biggest question of like any starter.
Just get one win, Cavs. Just one need, normal win.
Exactly. Player. I know Lamar Stevens is kind of like the undrafted guy that, you know, home or developmental prospect that they've
they like D Wade too.
Yeah, it's
best
like
D Wade to ever play for the Cavs.
Chetty Osman, it was a fun prospect for like 6 years.
Dylan Windler. Yeah. Karis LeVert, the one thing that will give me pause, Karis LeVert, I don't know. I think he's a perfect sixth man, but he always has health issues.
Could he be the most important piece of the NBA season, Jordan?
I don't think so.
I think that's the thing. The thing there is he doesn't have to be because they could just play big and he can be the sixth man, and they can roll with that, which is a really great place to be. Like, because I like him a lot, but obviously he's had all variety of issues.
Who's the fifth starter then that year?
I don't know.
I mean,
is
I
it
personally,
Yeah,
Is it a
It's probably going to be a Coro start, but Adam's saying
be.
go big with the. I'm just wondering.
I'm not saying go big. I'm saying they may well go big.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I just think losing Markkanen is kind of sneakily difficult for that because they don't have their big depth now is Kevin Love, who was very good, and Robin Lopez, who's good, but you're not going to start him at the 3.
That'd be so funny.
I mean, maybe you could put in Mobley there. I wonder how long is.
I think you could. Like it's super weird, but
you don't have a 4 then. Well, how long do we see that Kevin Love that we saw last year after he looked kind of done for a little while? He was rejuvenated. They were fun. How long is that?
He also didn't want to be there.
Oh yeah,
and now he does.
Kind of a whiny player on that kind of a contract. I'm just gonna say.
Even like I'm gonna butcher his name. Ochai Agbaji.
Yeah, he would have been interesting there.
He was a guy that they drafted that they threw in the Mitchell trade. That was like, I mean, you have to do that when you trade for Donovan Mitchell. But when they drafted, it was like, oh yeah, you have a need. He fits that need, and he might vie for the starting job.
Yeah,
that is easily like the biggest like position that will be improved on in some form between now and the trade deadline. But yeah. I like the veteran flavor they have. Obviously, Rolo's there. Kevin Love can be moody, but if they win, Rubio, of course, like they have the ingredients there to make this a really splashy first season with Mitchell there. I just think I compared, as we talked about in the last pod, compared from Minnesota to Cleveland, I would probably lead. Obviously, definitely lean more towards Minnesota, kind of figuring things out first.
Agree. I'm going to go slight under after all, not push. I have a bunch of small reasons for Cavs pessimism. Don't love the way they handled the Darius Garland back stuff. Seemed like he was playing through some pretty meaningful, and maybe it's one of the. They always say, "Oh, it's not going to make it worse." Sure, it's not. I didn't love that. It looked like he was. Like in one of the late Bucks games, maybe even the last game.
Yeah, it was the last game.
It wasn't that important of a game, I don't think, for them. Maybe it was, but he was like playing late against Lindell Wigginton and like really gritting through it in a way I don't love to see, and I wonder how that's going to go.
Especially for a small guard.
Yeah, my spicy Cavs take is they may end up regretting the Sexton and a bunch of stuff for Donovan Mitchell trade. I do think Donovan Mitchell is better. Sexton's been pretty damn good when we've seen him. And I don't know if the cost to upgrade from one to the other is going to be worth all the chips that they moved. It's a lot of stuff.
I think there's a significant gap between those two.
Let's see. We'll see.
I can't wait to see.
I think it's worth, like, it was a hefty price for that upgrade, but it's worth getting someone who is a few years ahead of the rest of your core schedule. Again, to get someone who's just got a little bit more experience. He's not so much older that you're like, okay, well, let's win now with that guy before he's gone. I think it's actually a really kind of well-judged move in terms of age profile, that he is that little bit ahead of them. Hopefully, you're going to see the best version of him there if you're the Cavs and he hits his prime, and then everyone else is still coming up behind him and reaching the peak of their levels. I do quite like that element of it, and I think that is a reason too, beyond the fact that he's done a whole lot more in the league already than Sexton does.
Well, yeah.
That Sexton has. I think going for someone who is more is not an unwise move when you've got lots of really talented young players of a similar age come through at once. I think someone who's just, you're creating a pecking order even beyond kind of what's naturally emerging. And I don't think that's the worst thing for kind of trying to work out how do we build a winning team here.
Plus, is Evan Mobley getting better? Also.
Yeah, probably is.
It's going to factor a lot into that.
Mm. Yeah, agreed. I'm going to go full Simmons. I just want to see it with them because I think it's a very weird roster. And I think JB Bickerstaff did a good job last year. I think I don't know. If Mobley
I agree.
Doesn't get better,
I'm on the under. Yeah. Like, I'm super high on the Cavs. They're going to win 47 games for me.
Yeah, it's close.
The line is insane. Are we all in agreement that this line is completely ridiculous for a team?
But it makes sense. But it makes sense, though.
It makes sense to learn better.
It's a pretty good line because I'm taking the push.
Outside of the Bucks, the division's not great this year, which helps.
I don't know, Ty. Let's talk about the next team.
I don't know. Wait till you hear my takes on the next team.
Oh my God, the Detroit Pistons, who won 23 games last year.
Smash the over. Sorry, I want to talk about this team.
The line is a flat 29. We're smashing the over, apparently. Rohan, go ahead and talk about the
I'm really excited for this. I'm like, they might be my second favorite team to watch this season. That's how excited I am to watch the Detroit Pistons. A lot of that, it starts with Cade Cunningham. I love this dude and his prospects in the NBA. He, like, I've said this before on this podcast, big guard. He's the epitome of a big guard, but he's not necessarily like a big point guard, but he plays like that. He has such a good feel of the game of basketball. You watch him try to navigate a pick and roll. It is like poetry in motion. I'm so high on Cade. I think he has the chance to be one of the best players in his generation. I'm just very, very high on Cade. And in addition to him, like this team around him it's finding its way. They have tough guys on their team. You want to look at Isaiah Stewart. You want to look at Sadiq Bey. Those are ballers. Like Sadiq Bey scored 50 in a game that no one watched last year because it was on during March Madness. Like that's a thing that happened. You get Jaden Ivey addition to this team. Is he going to be great year one? No, probably not. Is he going to be a good speed threat? Yes. Bojan Bogdanovic is like an adult in the room for them. He's going to be a great floor spacer as well. That's something that they sort of lost when they had Jeremy Grant in the fold, but now you get Bojan Bogdanovic, who's like just an elite floor spacer, very, very smart player. He's going to be a great fit with this team. I'm so excited for this team. Is Jalen Duren going to be something year one? Again, probably not. He's going to foul out of every game he plays, but he is going to try. He is going to try out there. I'm so excited for this team. This team might make the playoffs.
Do you have a number? Do you have a number on? Because I have a number that I'll decide whether or not I'll share the number based on if you
41.
Whoa!
Oh my God!
I've got 40.
Oh my God!
Let's go.
No!
Just would be unprecedented.
No. I have heard enough. It's too soon.
No, it's not. It's absolutely not
true. What they're the team of the future. They're the team of the future. I understand this. They have good.
What if they own that future, Jordan? And what if they own it now?
But they're not built for this, Adam. They're not built for this.
Is Dwayne Casey going to roll down the windows of a car and say, "Let's do this"?
Is he going to be scared of Matthew Dellavedova and his dreams? Probably. It's not. There's not. I see it next year. I see it the year after when things are coming together. No shade Cunningham here.
Oh.
But but I just don't think that this team is ready to pop.
How long has that one been,
5 minutes.
Honestly, a lot less than I thought.
A lot of Killian Hayes buzz about hell yeah, he redid his shot. That's great.
He might suck.
Yeah.
I know. the Bogdanovic trade, very odd.
Oh, I love that. I like that a lot.
I like that trade a lot.
They needed an adult. They knew they needed an adult who's going to play all year, which Nerlens might not.
I just don't. This team is not. In terms of their veterans, besides Bogdanovic, a lot is riding on Nerlens Noel to be a starting caliber center, which he has shown in very brief stretches. This team is really young. I don't see.
It is, but they're feisty and they know how to play. Like they're a defensive-minded young trio. Like Cade is a stud on defense. Like Isaiah Stewart, Sadiq Bey, those guys are not pushovers on defense. I think there's a difference between like a young team in terms of they're just like the Houston Rockets, for instance, where they're just like a bunch of offensive-minded players. Like these are two-way guys, and I think that makes the difference.
This is, without a doubt, it's my most chaotic pick of this whole exercise, and that is probably saying something.
I can't believe it. I'm so happy I'm not alone in this.
I really just it's based on feel more than anything, in part because I think for something like that to pan out, Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren have to be like good, not just playable. They've got to be good this season. They've got to fit in.
Good-ish. I don't think they have to be that good.
I think they have to be good if they're going to win 40
They have to be
games.
good.
40 games.
They do have to be good.
Even 30.
I think they could be good. I really do. I think it's in play. I love the Bogdanovich acquisition for them. I think he is the perfect kind of player to mesh in with that. When you've got Cade Cunningham, it's like, what do you need? You also look at the kind of players, as Rohan has pointed out, the kind of defenders, someone like Isaiah Stewart, who I quite like, but he's a weird player. Like, in terms of what modern bigs are like, it's not necessarily the ideal. So what do you need to get around that? What do you need to make it work? I think Bogdanovich goes quite a way towards making that happen. And I do think there's kind of interesting vets on this team. They're a very young team.
I like Burks.
I like Burks. I like Kemba. Not as basketball player at this point, even. I don't.
He's out of the team, though.
Is he not?
No, they want him gone. They're trying to get rid of him. Pistons don't want him. Yeah.
I think they should keep him around.
So does he.
I don't know if he wants to.
No, I think James
that's
Edwards,
what I would have thought more.
I think James Edwards said it was Pistons side.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
If you're the Pistons, I don't know why you don't want Kemba Walker around Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey at this point. Like, I think he's got. If he's open to embrace that role, I think that's something that really could help this team to kind of hit the ground running in a different way.
Doesn't that in itself, that whole, like, them not wanting Kemba there, and they need veteran helps or veteran players, not just a mentor, but like, if you're going to want to make a big jump in the standings, you're going to have to rely on someone like Kemba who can still theoretically play.
Jordan, 100%. This is you saw me just find out not play, but you saw me just find out this news. Would it have changed my pick? Possibly.
Well, you're still That's not going to change your over.
No, but it's also not going to change my prediction because I am not a man for apologies on the pod midway through.
I felt like I was a little rude. I didn't change my take. Just felt like I delivered a little rudely. Jordan, are you over or under?
Oh, I'm under.
You're under all the way. Wow.
Oh yeah. Wow.
This team's gonna suck.
I don't see that. I think there's another team in this division that's going to overperform.
Oh, Jordan.
What? Oh, I'm ready.
Wow. Wait. I want to go before we get to outrage over Jordan.
Yeah.
Pretty tempered take. I have the over, but like 35-ish. I just think the Cade's got to really figure out a lot of the scoring stuff. I think he will, but
I don't think he does.
I think he does. He was terrible at shooting threes last year.
But he doesn't.
Also,
I think he kind of does. I think he kind of does as a perimeter player.
No, he doesn't.
I don't think
he's numbered.
Where is Beef Stew and Jalen Duren going to play?
Yeah, I think Beef Stew's going to have to play a 4, which I don't love. Between Noel and Duren, I don't love. That's going to be a process.
Duren's going to be a backup 5 if he's.
Yeah, well, is he going to be the third string?
Where's Stewart's play though?
I don't love the fit of their bigs. Well, Noel, I think Noel should play because he's probably better right now, but I don't think it's a clean fit. But yeah, I think Cade's going to have to be able to shoot the ball. Absolutely, he's not Giannis. If you're not Giannis, you kind of have to shoot the ball from distance. In this league,
you have to be able to operate in the mid range.
I don't think he's amazing at that, but I think as a perimeter player, it's really hard to be a great player if there's no 3-point threat.
And it's even more harder because Jaden Ivey is looked at as the speed threat, the off-ball guy that's just going to run end to end and take care of defenses that way. Cade is going to have so much attention towards him, and they're not the pieces
which he's used to.
Yeah,
I mean, but I think he's really good too. I'm really high on Cade. Just think he's going to need another year or so to put it together. Don't know what to expect from Ivy. It's not fair. I'm not encouraged by him, kind of because of Hayes. I remember the hype about Hayes, and then it was just so I want to see it from him. Like Sadiq Bey, don't love him, but I like Sadiq Bey. Like losing Grant is tough. He didn't play much last year. Bojan totally takes care of that. I would have been like a slight over pre-Bojan. Really like that move for them. I just think they're a year away from. I think they might sniff around the play-in, but I think they're a year away from actually finishing in the playoffs 8.
I think a big swing piece for them is going to be Isaiah Livers, who showed a lot at the tail end of last season. As sort of like a swing piece. Like I think if he hits, he's real. Like this team's going to be something to deal with.
Maybe.
I agree with your take too, Ty. I have them at 9. These.
I guess I'll have to go through and see where my win total actually puts them. I would guess around 10, considering how vehemently anti-Wizards I was. But let's get to Jordan's sleeper team here, the Indiana Pacers. They won 25 last year. The line is actually the lowest in the East, which surprises me a little bit. 23
It doesn't
and a half.
surprise me.
Does it? Does it surprise
It does
you?
not surprise me.
It is surprising.
You guys
I
see
agree
what
with
Benedict
you, Ty.
Mathurin? You guys see what Benedict Mathurin's done this preseason?
I have.
It's been pretty good.
Is that a sincere question?
Yeah. I know. I shouldn't be asking you this. Yeah.
I have not seen what Benedict Mathurin.
I'm doing the Mathurin, the Mathurin right
Oh.
here. 23 and a half games for a team that won 25 games last year and had their worst season in recent history, if not franchise history, and has. If everybody was going crazy about the Kings trading Tyrese Halliburton, oh my God, why did they do this? What is going on? And they get a good player, possibly a good player, Benedict Mathurin. Chris Duarte's on this team. Miles Turner, Buddy Hield. I'm not saying this team is going to be a playoff team or a play-in team. I just don't see them. I see them winning nearly 30 games, if not more. Rick Carlisle is still the coach.
I'm gonna change Rohan's take right here. James Johnson is on this roster.
James Johnson is on this roster.
Let's go over, baby.
Blood sport, baby. They got the vet in the room.
Hey, this is probably the weirdest line.
So you're pounding over on this, Jordan?
I think it's a comfortable over.
This is
I
the
think you're
weirdest
going to be
line.
the only one. I
think so,
I'm well conditioned to feel that way.
I'll
They could
Call
even be
him Sam Smith because he knows he's not the only one.
okay.
exactly.
Wow,
I'm dancing with a stranger with this line.
this business is dirty. Same way I baked in the Lakers getting better, I'm gonna bake in the Pacers. It just feels like Miles Turner, Buddy Hield, maybe even McConnell are just not gonna be there that long. I think if they tried to win this year, they'd probably be over, but I don't think they will. I think their team's okay as is, but I just think I don't expect them to have this team the whole year. So I'm gonna go under, but I do think it's a pretty low line for the guys there right now. They're solid NBA guys.
Indiana,
Tyrese is good.
they're trying to get Wembanyama so bad.
I
Yeah.
agree. But I see where Jordan's coming from. I could see him getting up near 30. If they were like, if
Even
their
if-
mindset was, we're going to grind out wins. We believe in Tyrese. We don't need to tank. We're going to keep Buddy. We're going to extend Miles Turner. We're all in on this core. Yeah, maybe they win 28 games. It's not
26
feasible.
and 56 is still a comfortable over for this.
It is
It's
a
not-
low number. It's a low number
a
for the
very
amount of
low
solid
number.
players here.
That purely based on Lakers trade speculation?
I think just
I guess
general. It just seems like generally they don't
I think
care
they're
about
bad.
winning.
They're not good.
I think they're better than the Pistons.
Wow.
I think they are.
I don't think that's
I-
insane to say as currently constructed.
I think it's yeah.
I don't know if I agree, but I don't think it's insane.
It's
I'm
closer
all-
than I think two of the people in this.
I don't think they, I
Oh
don't think they
yeah,
have enough. They don't have
You know
enough
how
wings.
close I think it is.
They don't have enough wings. Is their issue? I don't
Yeah.
buy their wing depth at all. It's like Jalen Smith at the 4-5. I like O'Shea Brissett as like a fifth wing. He's probably
Terry
gonna start.
Taylor does rebound the ball like crazy for a guy who's 6'5", and I remember watching her games.
Cool.
He's like
There's going to be a lot of misses, so
Yeah.
he's going to be there. He's going to be.
and you know what? Maybe he gets some tip-ins and wins the game late. I don't know.
Some
That's 2
Ursan
wins right
style
there.
Pickens.
So Jordan,
Yeah. What?
I've got the Pistons at 40 wins, right?
Yeah.
Have that. That's where I've got the Indiana Pacers.
Oh, it's not that.
20?
Not
20.
crazy.
Is that your worst record? Or
In the
second
East.
worst?
In the East. It is third worst overall, second worst, or worst in the East. And
Who would be my worst record?
it's the Spurs. Come on.
Yeah. It's
Well,
gotta be
in the
Spurs.
East.
It sounds like it's the Pistons.
It might be the Magic for me.
You're big on the Hornets too. I forgot
Yeah,
that.
he's big on the Hornets and Pacers. Over there.
I just-
Jordan,
I know
I'm gonna
these-
need to run your numbers. I need your numbers so I can go through a verification process and some of this because there's some stuff that's not adding up.
It may well be. I'll have to do the Mathurin again. You know, just to see.
Rohan, you're official.
Under.
I do think it's a low line for the guys. I know I've just said this.
Russell Westbrook and Tyrese Halliburton aren't going to do a whole lot.
Halliburton's great. I don't think they'll play him for a lot of the
Actually,
season.
you know what? I would say this. I will say this too. If they do that trade for Russell Westbrook,
God,
it's that it's over.
Stop yourself, Jordan.
Wow, Russ at the 3, and they're gonna be over. He'd actually probably be a better 3 than 1.
It gives him a wing.
That's a
I've seen Stranger Things, and they filmed that in Indiana.
A wing who does no wing things.
Yeah, exactly.
Well then,
I'm winging 6. I'm ready to
Jordan
stand on Pacers Mountain.
What has happened to you?
Who is this? Is this Jordan?
Yes, it is.
He's a new man this year. I'm officially going under. I don't love it. I don't love the line, but I'll go a slight under, just assuming that they want that. It is weird that they still have Carlisle there. I didn't think he was still going to be there. It's weird to me he's so on board with this, but whatever.
Mm-hmm. And that's what he went for. Like, the project wasn't exactly looking.
They tried it first, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't.
Did try it first.
Yeah.
He went there. What was he? Did he really think this was a juggernaut that he was going to?
I mean, I kind of expected he would.
I think they thought, or he at least probably thought it was like a treading water.
Yeah, that's probably what they all thought. And he may be on board with not treading water and getting to coach Wembanyama with Halliburton next season. So
yeah, I wonder if they don't get a good draft pick, does he just leave then? Like, yeah, I'm good on this now. I don't need to be in the new Magic for 5 years here.
It's possible.
I think this team is going to actively try to lose games too, like the franchise.
Not my Pacers.
No, who's your prize?
Well, we did it.
Yeah. We have one more team to go. It'll be in the next podcast. So,
and that is the Utah Jazz. We're going to circle back because we all enjoy talking about them so much.
We're going to calculate the vorps and the schlorps of every Jazz player to mathematically determine exactly where they'll end up, even if they trade or send some guys home.
It'll be fun to see how at the end of the season, we should see if we should revisit these, or maybe not.
Oh, I'm ready.
I wrote them down.
I'm ready.
We don't even have to listen to the episode. I took them down as we went.
Honestly, Ron, I think there are genuinely some things that week to week I will want to revisit with Jordan throughout this season.
I am ready.
Pistons going a 15-game winning streak. So,
dude, the way I view Jordan Treske, I'm gonna go put down some cash on the Pacers over. Jordan just sees the vision different. I'm all in now. Tyrese Halliburton, most improved, 25-5-5. Mathurin, rookie of the year. Let's get it.
Is this Celtics 2.0, Jordan? Is this like everyone doubted your Celtics?
Title after he did that.
And you were he did it for years. Every time Jordan would be in on the Celtics, they'd overachieve. Not every team that Jordan has been in on has worked out like the Celtics, but.
Timberwolves, baby. Timber. I'm yelling timber.
Call him Kesha.
Rohan, get going. We got it.
Yeah, okay, we're out of here. If you this has been a wild podcast, series of podcasts, and we're not done yet. This is 2 out of 3, baby. We're gonna have another pod coming about the Milwaukee Bucks, the one team that we didn't talk about, which is the team,
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
They're just a team you take the under on every year, Jordan. You don't have to do much prep for this next pod.
That's true.
But yeah, make sure you listen to that. If you didn't check out our Western Conference over-unders, make sure you check that out as well, because Jordan had some takes in that one as well. Oh my goodness. You're not going to want to miss that one. There's a team in there we talked a lot about that I didn't think we would talk a lot about. So make sure you give that one a listen. Make sure you give every GSPN pod a listen. Check out all of that on gspn.info. Make time for this. Cruising for Bruising, Talking the Tundra. Check all of that out. And also check out gspnstore.com. Get some fresh merch that you're going to see me at Bucks games with and then not say hi to me for some reason. And then it'll be a fun time. But pod random. Thanks, everyone. And we'll talk to you next time.